Hi everybody, this is Codex. A lot of people have been asking about my build, what do I do, why I build it, why things happen the way they happen. So I decided to make a quick little yapping video about how I actually do my build, what I am actually using. I will show you my inner ways, my weapons, my mystic skills, a PVE setup, a PvP setup, why I've decided for certain things, etc. So let's dive right in. Basically, you can see that instead of the strategic sword or the tank builds that you've seen on my channel previously, I've decided to go for the mortal rope dart and the infernal twin blades, mainly because these weapons, according to what I've read online and some comments and some forums that I've been checking out, these weapons will basically scale up much harder into the late game. This was originally the combo I was playing right at the beginning, but it felt weak. But it was just because I didn't realize the potential and how things should be or shouldn't be used. Now the mortal rope dart will definitely be just our secondary weapon. It will be used to make our rodents, get our damage up, vendetta tokens, and we will get all into that later, but just keep in mind that you will be primarily using the infernal twin blades. Mortal rope dart is just a secondary buffing weapon that helps the twin blades really shine. Okay, good. So let's dive right into the inner ways. I've decided to go with the breaking point. At the beginning, I wasn't actually running the breaking point. This was the territory of the morale chant. But after a bit of consideration and really looking into the skill, everybody recommends it. They say it is great, and I don't doubt it. I also think it's great. But at the same time, one has to think about the uptime, the control, because as you can see, the third node actually tells you that the character has to be under control, has to be in a control state, which the mortal rope dart offers, but I don't think it offers it in such a broad spectrum that you would actually want it. At least for me personally, I just don't like it. I've decided to not play it. I have it in my PvP build, which we will talk about later, but as for PvE, it's just not something that I would consider, because if we look back at breaking point, we're getting critical hits applying disintegration, which give you 5% extra critical damage. Now, as you can see, the third point will give you 1 stack just attacking him, not for crits, but a perfect dodge will give you 5 stacks of disintegration for 5 seconds. Now, 5 seconds of 25% extra critical damage and 50 physical penetration, right? I know this is also much more situational. So Codex, what are you on about? Like, horse chant will have a much better uptime. Yes, but keep in mind that our weapon combo is much more bursty and much more setupy. So that's why I've decided to go with that instead. Echoes of Oblivion though, now this is just, in my opinion, insane. You have Flame Lash a lot of the times up, and you're getting 10% ignore on physical defense, 10% reduction on bamboo cut resistance, and 5% damage on the Samsara, which is when you hit them with a light attack and you're not in the Flame Lash state, and then you hit them with a light attack in the Flame Lash state, you get the Samsara effect. That's how you apply Sin and Karma. That's why the damage, that's why I'm always saying that the setup on this weapon is so complicated, and that's why I said at the beginning that I didn't understand the weapons, because it's very complicated in how you squeeze out the damage. Now the breakthroughs, as you can see, the Samsara will also trigger on a perfect dodge, which actually ties into some other inner ways. Now, I'm gonna be honest with the last breakthrough. I think there is some error in translation. I'm not really sure what the Heruka's Spire is, if it refers to this Calamity's Greed and the translation is just wrong. But we'll see. Once I get the inner way to tier 6, I think then I can judge how it works, but right now I can't really tell you. Now let's go over Vendetta. Vendetta is amazing. It makes Vendetta token last 5 seconds longer on the target. This increases the damage taken by rodent coordinated attacks by 50%. Absolutely mandatory. You need to have 100% uptime on the target when you are using this. Super good. Next we go over to the breakthroughs. As you can see, the rodent hunt will be applied after you Q the enemy for 15 seconds, and after it expires, 30% of all the damage the coordinated attacks do will blow up. disgusting. I feel like that's super strong, and this is another 50% increased damage and reduction on healing effect. I think this is going to be even better in PvP as well, but we shall see. I'm not there yet, can't really tell you anything from personal experience. And lastly, the 5-fold bleed. I think this is a very strong inner way on a lot of builds. As you can see, I have it on tier 4, which makes it much better as the chance to apply it increases to 15%, and it retains the bleeds on tier 6 after exploding. So I think the DPS from this is just super good, super disgusting, and yeah, that's basically it. Now, as I said before, I was running Morale Chant. I had chosen Breaking Point instead, but I still think Morale Chant is completely viable. I think this is going to be up to you. Some other options that I can recommend are Invigorated Warrior. This is going to get much stronger as you get tiers up, because this is basically going to be a permanent 8% increase to damage and healing done. Yes, you get disabled for 5 seconds. The effect gets disabled for 5 seconds after being hit, and you also take 3% extra damage, but it's constantly up. So yeah, as you can see on tier 4, it increases to 8%, but more importantly, on tier 6, once you attack somebody, you mark them, and the mark target cannot disable your 8% damage buff. So this basically turns into a constant 8% damage buff, which I think in PvE is super good. And even before that, you know, getting hit for 5 seconds in raid scenarios or PvE when you're possibly doing no-hit runs, super disgustingly good. Another option, Evasive Charge, really good, as when you slow down time through a perfect dodge, you get a free attack window on the targets, which basically gives you more DPS that you can do on targets. I feel like it's just harder to do than deflects. And yeah, 20% to the increase of invulnerability frames, super good. Healing on dodges, just very good in general for this build as well. Fury Harvest, if you're going to be using vitality skills, potentially good. Not really in this build. I think you should keep it. It's good. Maybe in the future something will come up, but not at the moment. I think it's a DPS loss to be casting tons of mystic skills with this build, especially where we rely on light attacks to trigger coordinated attacks from our rodents. Now, let's go over my mystic skills. As you can see, I'm running Free Morph, I'm running Dragon's Breath, Drunken Poet, and Honking Havoc. And as our alt skills, I'm running the classic puzzle skills, which are useful in any PvE combat boss scenario. Now the star of the show is going to be the Drunken Poet and the Dragon's Breath. I found that Dragon's Breath is really just 3 DPS. We can dot the target, animation cancel out of it, and keep going with our light attacks while the dot does amazing damage, amazing key damage, and generally I didn't find anything else that supplements this build as much. Free Morph, on certain bosses it can be used to launch them up into the air, so it's CC and damage combined. This is also great. Potentially needs some testing on what bosses it works, but when you block a red attack, usually you launch them up into the air. It works on Yurong or the Void King that I've tested so far. Honking Havoc, I'm using this for my hitless runs because as our build is used for setups, so you need the rodents, you need that Vendetta token up, I'm often just preparing my rodents, throwing on the token, and then using Honking Havoc to go ham on the target. It's really good, I really like it. Some other options that I could recommend to you are Wolf-like Frenzy. This is another ability that does great PvE damage. It costs a bit more of vitality, but still really good. And Soaring Spin, I don't know if they are going to nerf it or what's going on, but the damage on this ability is absolutely disgusting. Ignore the reduction on healing from this ability. Literally just the charge does so much freaking damage, and the vitality cost is also pretty good. Now, let's go over to the gear. As you can see, I'm not running the recommended set from the build path, which would be the Swallow Call. I'm actually running the Eagle Rise and the Hawkwing set, purely because I play a lot of PvP and PvE together, and this is sort of like the best middle way. I think the Swallow Call on the weapons would potentially give you more damage, as it buffs your light attacks by 15% and up to 20% on exhausted or targets with less than 40% chi. So yeah, never mind the fact that Eagle Rise actually buffs your defense automatically and reduces the next hit you take, and just farming one set from one boss makes it much easier. Now let's go over the rotation. So basically what I like to do is I drink with my Drunken Poet, I charge up my rodents, I dash to the boss, proc my rodents, go with a Q to get the token up, use my Q, use my Flame Breath, put the dot up, and just swing for the fences until you run out of everything else. Rinse and repeat. It's very much simpler than anything you've probably seen before, but I think the difficulty in itself is more concerning the actual uptime, because obviously you have to keep in mind that you have to keep the rodents up, you have to keep the Flame Breath up, and in the meantime you have to keep attacking and dodging the boss's attacks, so that's why it makes it difficult. Now let's go over my PvP setup. So as you can see, I'm not actually running the Mortal Rope Dart here. I've decided to go for the Strategic Sword instead, mainly due to the bleed effects and the mobility on the special skill. When you jump back, I feel like it catches a lot of people off guard and just gives me a bit more maneuverability. The Mortal Rope Dart just kind of locks you in place with a certain playstyle that I'm not rocking with at the moment. Yeah, you see, this jump back is so insanely good in PvP. A lot of people don't expect it. So basically your combos would be like, oh yeah, you do your classic light attacks, Q, then you tab, and you can get off another few Q, another free Q, and another special attack for free. They cannot counterplay this in any way. You have made a big gap between you, and now they are bleeding to death. Something really good. As you can see, I'm currently Legend 1. I've run this for basically my major push. Let's take a look at my performance. So just you can see, I'm sitting at 65% win rate, 100% win rate in the last 10 matches. So I guarantee you this build is really something that will work. I'm telling you. And like I've done this in like 2 days of playing Arena. Let's go over the inner ways now. As you can see, I am running the morale chant instead. That's purely because in arenas, when you're doing your big combo, you actually do manage to stack this up instantly. Like during the combo, before they get the chance to fight back, you actually manage to stack it up and get that physical penetration and the buffs. I've been running bitter seasons before, but honestly, it became so situational and I saw so little value being gained from it that I've decided to not run it. What I will run in the future is Vital Leech. This will heal you on execution, give you chi on execution, but more importantly, when the target gets exhausted, you will restore 30% of all the damage done to them while they are exhausted. Absolutely filthy, definitely something I would recommend. Invigorated Warrior, for all the reasons I commented before, it cannot be cancelled in the arena thanks to the last breakthrough that you get, this one exactly. So it's 3% to them, 8% to you, but it's permanently up, and especially in such an aggressive build that really pushes the limits of how much you chase down the opponents, it's something that just brings a lot of value. I just really like it. Some other options that we have are Fury Harvest. This is much better in PvP as Mystic skills just outvalue a lot of things that you can bring to the table instead, because in PvE you're much more looking for DPS, but not in this case. Vendetta, if you're running the Mortal Rope Dart in PvP, I would definitely put in Vendetta instead. Really good. But Vital Leech, again, this is my love. I can't wait to level it up and get it up and running. I think it's going to be really strong. Now for my Mystic skills, we are basically running a very much similar setup. Free Morph, Drunken Poet, Dragon's Breath, Serene Breeze. Dragon's Breath gives you hyper armor on usage, so it's really good to counter anybody that's attacking you. Serene Breeze, also amazing. Soaring Spin, same as before, great damage. Meridian Touch is absolutely disgusting. If you attack somebody with low chi, you can actually press F as you break them and execute them, you teleport to them. This is something that is super good for poke, execution, anything in between. Wolf-like Frenzy, another great PvP ability, Mystic skill that has hyper armor and you can combo it into free morph. There is no counterplay to that. And lastly, Leaping Toad. This is another beautiful ability. Applies the Toad Venom. It gives you unstoppable as well, so you're hyper armored in this. But honestly, I haven't been using it that much. I'm still kind of figuring out if I want to play Talon Strike instead, which is just also very filthy in terms of unblockables. It breaks your key, does a lot of damage. And lastly, Ghostly Steps. I've seen some people running this, but the vitality cost, for me at least in my playstyle, is not something that I'm enjoying so much, so I'm not playing it at the moment, but it is also an option. Now, for your combos, you basically want to do your light attacks, your Qs, your light attacks. Don't use your special skill, as that will allow the enemy to attack you back. Yeah, so as we discussed before, you just do your thing, stun lock them, get back with the strategic sword and its special skill, and that's about it, honestly speaking. So yeah, really enjoying this build. I'm really in love. The build is going super well. I've theory crafted a lot of things, so subscribe if you've enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comments if you have any further questions. I will be replying to you and everybody and all of your questions down below. Or if you have any tips for me, thanks a lot. Now, as always, remember, stay cultivating.